Welcome to Agent PHL on site, sponsored by Compass Commercial. I'm here with David Ross, principal of Argo Property Group. We're out here in the lovely Paradise Hills section of Philadelphia, just by East Falls, Manayunk, the Schuylkill River, Fairmount Park. Not many folks know about this area. It's a blossoming district of Philadelphia that is ripe with new construction townhomes, affordably priced, architecturally pleasing, very well designed. And I'll let David introduce Paradise Peak here, which we're standing next to. 24 townhouses designed by Canno architecture, available now for pre-sale. So David, Argo originally started developing townhouses and apartments and real estate in the Brewerytown submarket of Philadelphia.
Yes.
And in 2021, you've expanded your focus to concentrate mostly in these northwestern submarkets of Philadelphia like Paradise Hills, East Falls, Germantown. How have you adapted to the change in consumer demand that's been seemingly shifting outward from the central core of Philadelphia into these edge-like suburban submarkets around the ring of Philadelphia?
Our company worked in Brewerytown for a few years, and everything that we liked about Brewerytown, and still do, the commercial corridor, the access to the park, the river, the trail. We had a couple townhome developments where we did 10 townhomes at a time in Brewerytown. And as our company has expanded, we found that we can provide that same value of a townhome. We can now provide parking, private rooftops, and we've moved upriver a little bit. We've been working on this for 2 or 3 years. And what we love about East Falls and this corner of Allegheny West is its proximity to Center City, the park, the trail. You can walk down into East Falls for a cup of coffee. We just love everything about this neighborhood.
That's great. And this development in particular, Paradise Peak, homes selling from $449,000, that may come as a surprise to our audience with the rising cost of new construction homes in Philadelphia in the 600s, 700s. You go half a mile down the road and you have $1 million townhouses. So how has the affordability and the attainability of this new construction product relative to the rest of the city, how has that been an advantage in pre-selling these homes and in gaining attention for an area that had been traditionally overlooked but is now starting to grow very aggressively?
Yeah, we think this price point of a new construction home in the 400s is really underserved in Philadelphia. You get over 2,000 square feet, your own private garage, your own green roof, and these are things that you don't get in a lot of places. And so we find that we can provide exceptional value here. These 24 townhomes are the only place in Philadelphia where you can get all of that for this number, and the location is fantastic. So we're expecting these to go very quickly. We're very fortunate to be building these here, and the neighborhood has taken us in.
And originally, with this site being zoned industrial, the typical move would be to plop down a big apartment building and get as much density as you could within the zoning code. So how did you end up doing 24 townhouses here versus a big apartment building?
When we came into this, we thought about doing a 44-unit apartment building with about 20 ground floor parking spaces. I thought that made sense. We had a lot of space. But what we did early on is we had a conversation with the community, with the neighbors over here, and we found that what was important to them was townhomes, providing parking, and getting more families involved. So we pivoted, we redesigned the whole project to do it as townhomes for sale.
And that's a good point. Argo as a company is developing apartment buildings, Brewerytown, 36 units in East Falls, 45 units in Germantown. So you are developing multifamily apartment buildings, but you are reacting not only to the neighborhood, but to the marketplace by offering new construction townhouses for sale at a very attractive price point in a submarket that really does not have ample supply to offer homeowners. So how do Argo's sensibilities, with you having diverse backgrounds in different businesses professionally, with you and Jeremy as the principals of the company, How do your diverse backgrounds serve you as developers that are now embarking on substantial real estate developments that are changing the landscape of Philadelphia? How does that compare to the traditional development model? And what has the reaction been to your company and to your developments?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think when a lot of people think about development and developers, they feel like there's some person far away controlling things. And I think that Philly's a small town, and I want to be known as a developer that takes our time, has conversations with the community, and does projects and developments that are tasteful and fit in and look like they've been there a while. So most of the neighbors have my cell phone, for better or for worse, but they call me when they have concerns. And we spend a lot of time before we put shovels in the ground making sure that the project fits in, has proper context, and kind of harkens back to what Philadelphia, has always been. So we take a lot of pride in that.
And that ties into the architecture and the design of the townhouses and the apartments. So how do the developments that you're creating and the architects that you've commissioned to design these projects, how do they create a lasting impact on the built environment? And why did you choose the particular architects on this development and on developments such as 06 across the street where you're developing passive homes, environmentally friendly, green new construction? How did you choose each architect for each job?
I work with a handful of architects, and we like to think about what is the project, what's special about that project, and who's a good fit for it. Here we're working with Canno Design out of Center City, and we have a great history with them in delivering really nice, tasteful projects. Canno does some of the nicest brickwork, detailing. The projects look very stately and tasteful. So that's why we love working with Canno. They design these townhomes for us, and they really hit it out of the park with a modern aesthetic that blends traditional and contemporary. The layouts are really spacious and really nice.
And over at 06, right across the street where you're developing 6 zero net energy townhouses that are environmentally conscious, you're offering electric vehicle charging, rooftop solar arrays, and 0 energy bills for future homeowners, in addition to a 10-year tax abatement and garage parking. What type of benefits do you see in offering a product like that that is really the only one of its kind in Philadelphia? How do you feel that project is going to be received, not only by home buyers, but by the entire real estate community and the city as a whole?
So we're doing a lot of work in this neighborhood. Between Paradise Peak, which is 24 townhomes with parking, 06, which is a block from here, they'll have solar canopies on the roof. They're going to have a hyper-insulated envelope, and those homes should have 0 energy bill at the end of the year. So they're very unique, they're very boutique, but there's a very specific buyer for that, and that values that. I think what's most important is providing value in all forms. And so we look at delivering townhomes in the 400s and doing a lot of stuff in the neighborhood. We're trying to deliver different products for different people.
It's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
No, and it can't be. Every block is different. Every block has different neighboring buildings, different traffic patterns. And so we try to take that into consideration about what fits in, and what will sell well. So I think a lot about that.
So that's a good point. What's coming next after these 24 townhouses, which are now available for pre-sale? Once they sell out and you develop the 6 passive homes at 06, what comes next for Argo in Paradise Hills after those 2?
Over here on Ridge Avenue, we're going to have 44 townhomes. Similar to this, but a little different. They're going to be on Ridge Avenue and 35th Street. And they're all going to have private garages, green roofs, 3 beds, 3.5 baths, really exceptional townhomes. But those are, another 6 months or a year behind this project.
So what originally led me personally to discover this neighborhood was it's immediate access off of the Schuylkill River Trail and the Schuylkill River and Fairmount Park. So for those who do not know, we are surrounded by the greenery of Fairmount Park. You're a short stroll down the hill to the Schuylkill River. You're bound by Manayunk and East Falls, and you're just a quick 10-minute trip into City Hall, downtown Philadelphia. So what are the perks not only of this particular development at Paradise Peak, but the perks of the neighborhood as a whole that people may not know about?
So when we started working here about 2 years ago, we realized that there was a really strong civic association. There were institutions here, like St. James, like Laurel Hill Cemetery. There's artisan studios, there's photographers, there's video production. There's a lot of things in this neighborhood already that make this neighborhood great, but it's not really like promoted and advertised the way a lot of other neighborhoods are. So when we got in here and we started working, we realized that there's a lot of creators and makers here, and having townhomes in this part of the city was a gap in the market that we're trying to help with.
And you're paying homage to the name, Paradise Hills. This community has long been known as Paradise. Yep. So with Paradise Peak at Paradise Hills and other developments that we will be introducing to the marketplace, you're paying homage to a neighborhood that's already had a very established reputation and identity. And what you're attempting to do is just further that reputation with progressive new development, attainable new construction, and a variety of housing for every different consumer.
The Paradise name was here. It was in the Civic Association, it's on the signs around town. But when we tell people we're working here and delivering homes here, we still have to show people on a map that we're right in between East Falls, Allegheny West, Strawberry Mansion, the Schuylkill River. And so everything converges right here in this access point to the city. And that's why it's so great. There's a lot of greenery, it's quiet. There's a lot of things that make this a good place to call home.
So in a complex job like this, where you have 24 townhouses built in 4 distinct phases, separated by a center drive aisle, it's important to have the right construction partner, the right general contractor. So who did you choose to develop this site with you, and why did you choose them?
So on this site, we're working with Point Builders, PB+DC. We've had a very good relationship with them for a few years now. And when we started working up here, we had a high-level conversation about different projects that we're doing in the neighborhood. So they're helping us with this project and some others nearby. They're very professional to work with. We've had very good experience getting started here. The projects that we've already done together, we've had exceptional quality. So we're looking forward to working with them here on this.
And this particular development, Paradise Peak, comes with a 10-year tax abatement, as will all of the homes and apartment buildings that you're introducing to the Paradise Hills submarket. So this has been a very busy year for Argo Property Group, and you've successfully managed to obtain plans and permits and tax abatements on close to 100 units in this neighborhood alone. So talk about the importance of the tax abatement, not only for the end user that's buying the townhouse, but for the owner and manager of an apartment building that then looks to sell, or the home buyer who lives in the house for 3 or 4 years and then sells their home with a remaining tax abatement, or just the end user who is paying less on their monthly dues because the taxes are abated.
These being new construction will have the full 10-year tax abatement. Tax abatement is very misunderstood in Philly, but what it does provide is a way for homeowners, young families, buyers to buy a little bit more of a house than they normally could, and it helps with those monthly payments for 10 years. Now, it also helps kickstart projects that otherwise don't pencil out. So a lot of development is just borderline whether it works or not, and so the tax abatement helps move the needle a little bit so the projects can get started.
With the tax abatement being reduced at the start of 2022, it was crucial that you got the tax abatement approved here and on your other sites for the benefit of the next user of the site.
So projects that are permitted this year are going to have the full tax abatement. That's very important for buyers to be able to have that because it helps them with their payments for quite a while. Now any project that's permitted after 2021 is going to have a reduced value tax abatement, 50% of its current value, which is still great for home buyers and helping people move into homes. But it is a shame that it's going away.
So talk about your ethos as Argo Property Group as it relates to this particular community.
I feel like we've had a very good relationship with the community here. This project in particular was well received, doing townhomes. Some of the other projects equally well received. What's important for us is working in a neighborhood that understands what we're doing, and while all new development has its ups and downs with noise, with additional parking, with the unknown of additional residents, I think what we're delivering here is healthy and is something that we're proud to do. And I think this is a great community for it. There's lots of good institutions here, and we're fortunate to be the ones building homes here. So I'm just glad that we're in this position.
So you are serving an underserved market when it comes to home buyers, and you're also serving the community by responding to their needs, by hearing their feedback, and ultimately developing a project that's going to enhance the community and the attractability of the streetscape and the neighborhood as a whole. So well done.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a pleasure to work here. We're in a very fortunate position to be building homes, and I think if we can do them tastefully in a way that fits in and enhances the neighborhood, we're happy to be able to do that.
Well, David, thank you for taking the time here with us at Paradise Hills. If you want to learn more about this particular development, Paradise Peak at Paradise Hills, now available for pre-sale, go to paradisephilly.com. If you want to learn more about Argo Property Group, go to argopg.com. And of course, please direct your sales inquiries through agentphl.com. And thank you for tuning in to Agent PHL On Site.